What is the difference between white power versus black power?
And I think that we're all Americans at the end of the day. But if a white person got up right now and said, white power, what is your original thought on that?
Well, that's associated with the KKK.
But if a black person say black power,
which came about because of the Black Panthers, well, I would
Black
feel
Panthers were designated as a terrorist organization.
That's what they were called, yes.
Well, that don't mean it was true, but I'm just saying, if you want to go back to historical context, you say that was a terrorist.
The Ku Klux Klan is historically responsible for thousands of lynchings and acts of racial terror in the United States. Founded in 1865, the white supremacist terrorist group used lynching, bombings, and assassinations to enforce racial segregation, subjugate African American immigrants, Jews, and Catholics. Scope of the violence. According to the Tuskegee Institute, 4,743 lynchings were documented in the U.S. between 1882 and 1968. The Equal Justice Initiative has documented over 4,000 racial terror lynchings in 12 southern states alone between 1877 and 1950. KKK members, local chapters, and white mobs associated with Klan ideology perpetrated a massive share of these extrajudicial murders. Purpose of KKK lynchings: political voter suppression, terrorizing black voters and politicians during and after Reconstruction; economic control, targeting successful black landowners, business owners, and workers to prevent economic advancement; social enforcement, using public murder to enforce white supremacy and strict racial hierarchies. Now, the prompt that we utilize for this is how many lynchings are the Black Panther Party for self-defense responsible for? And then on that sub-prompt, we just typed in the KKK, right? So back to the Black Panther Party for self-defense. They always leave that part out. They just shortened it because you don't have to admit who they needed defending from, right? The Black Panther Party is responsible for 0 lynchings. We don't have to go down that because that just fully explained the black power that erupted after white power had existed for 100 years as a retaliation anthem type, protect our own. You understand? The 14 words. Are you familiar with the 14 words? See, the 14 words are actually based in a racial hierarchy believing so-called white supremacy. Putting, again, the folks who invented race at the top of the race hierarchy as the archetype of human nature. Y'all were warring with each other for centuries in Europe until you figured out there were black and brown people you could pillage, rape, rob, steal, kill from. Because no, the wars amongst themselves, they weren't civil. Even the Civil War wasn't civil. You had brother against brother, North versus South, over sectionalism, not slavery. And the South will rise again, ties into the Klan with the original Birth of a Nation, which has a whole Klansman on the cover. And then when we fast forward to 2026, the only place you see Klansmen, Confederate flags, Nazi flags, are in support of a particular political party. It rhymes with Republicans. The Democrats, Republic Bloods, 2 wings, same bird. That's why you don't have free healthcare, tuition-free college. A lot of the amenities that the $300 trillion the state of Syria will receive from taxpayers here. We thought y'all were against that in like welfare states when...
That's why I'm not sick of these bitch. I mean, like, you won't say something that's not. You won't say something that's not. I don't understand.
R-E